What's up, everyone? Welcome to Three Chicks in a Pod. I am Megan Price. We got Jen Lewis Matthews in the middle and Kari Johnson at the end. How are you ladies doing?
Woohoo! How are
Hey,
you?
yourself?
Doing really well. It's been a good week so far. I mean, I know we're still at the beginning of the week, but it's been pretty good so far.
Yay, I like it. How about you, Carrie?
Uh, well, we just bought some new furniture, so I'm pretty excited. And we have to wait till tomorrow to pick it up because, well, Three Chicks in a Pod comes before our new furniture.
Oh, I'm sorry and thank
Very
you.
cool.
We would have let
No,
you
it's
do it
good.
from the showroom.
Huh?
We would have let you do it from the showroom.
Oh, no, 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 no. No, it just makes anticipation that much better.
Right?
I would have done that. I'd have been on, hey guys, this is my new couch. I love it. All right, so we've got a fun episode for you guys. This is our all NFL episode. So it's
Woohoo!
going to be a two-part series. We're going to start off with what we think about Deshaun Watson. I imagine all y'all probably know what direction we're going to go with that. And then we're going to talk about the top five teams and the bottom five teams in the NFL. So if one of our teams is there, I don't think so, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to start with Deshaun Watson, though. So at first, they said that they were going to suspend him for 6 games, and that well, I can't remember how much was the fine. 5 million.
What? 5 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It was very. It
they
was
have
very
not.
dumb.
They have changed now that he's going to have an 11-game suspension, and then obviously a hefty fine. For me, the fine doesn't mean a whole lot. I do feel like, I mean, it needs to go to, possibly battered women's shelters or something of that nature. Keep it in a positive way to help move past some of the things that he's brought forward. But the 11-game suspension, yeah, absolutely. My first thought when I heard it was, this is obviously better than 6, because I guess measuring stick for this was, Zeke got 6 games as well. And I mean, it was nothing, what he did was nothing like what happened with Deshaun Watson. And so, I mean, 11 games, okay. I mean, it's better than what you guys started with, but he needs to be out for the entire season. I do believe in second chances. Like, I had no problem with Michael Vick coming back to the league after he paid consequences for what he did. And so
Right.
when he came back, and his career was never quite the same again, but that's what happens when you do something like that. And so for Deshaun, I think that he should have had to sit out a year. And I know I heard a lot of people sit there and say, oh, well, he sat out all last year. Well, he sat out all last year because him and his team came into agreement on that. That was not a punishment. He didn't want to play, and then all this drama came up. So hi, Will, see you there. Hey, Rob, Michael. So that's my opinion. I feel like he should have had to sit out for a year, an entire season.
Well, that's kind of what I've gone back and forth with the whole just 11 games and I'm like, well, some people are considering that the 16 games last year as being, or the 17 games, whatever it was, as being part of the suspension. But I'm like, that was a disagreement. They never came to contract. They were still in contract negotiations and was still fighting. That's why he wasn't playing. So
Right.
he got paid. Their whole thing was, no matter what, you're not going on the field. We're going to pay you, but you can't come into the facility. And so with that view, is 11 games the same for all of what he brought to light? Is that the same as gambling and betting on your a $2,000 bet or whatever it was against your team and lose an entire year?
No.
So which one? What kind of message are we sending with that? I mean, I know they were trying to protect the integrity of the NFL, but
did he? Okay, so I thought like in preseason they said he was injured, and that's why he wasn't there during preseason last year.
Well,
am I wrong in that? I've got a second question in a second because I don't really remember everything right now.
It seemed to me, if I remember right, and Lord knows it's probably a tainted view at this point, but it was like they were saying there was an injury, but then there was contract that was not secured, and they were bickering over how much his contract.
He wanted out. Yeah, he wanted out. He had like demanded a trade, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he demanded the trade, and all this came out 3 weeks after he asked for the trade. So the timing was very auspicious.
Right.
And it still is, to be honest.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, Busby being so close in with the top of Texans ownership, you just got to kind of wonder how much of that, and you still do. But at the same time, so many women have stepped forward and exposed this entire thing, including the Texans organization, with all of their issues on top of, beside Watson, is 11 games.
It's like fair 2 victims. We're gonna give him a game suspension. Like, we're serious. That's kind of what.
And this is my question: did he actually hurt anybody, or did he just say lewd and lascivious things and ask for things?
I don't know. I haven't read the transcripts. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I haven't read the transcripts either, because honestly, like, I was defending Deshaun for so long,
right?
Because McNair does have that stated history of being racist. Mm-hmm. He'd made all those promises to Deshaun. He failed on every single last one of them. Deshaun asks for a hey James, and he asked from all of those. Thank you for watching us, James. We appreciate you, sir. And then he asked for the trade, and 3 weeks later, all these ladies who are paid for by the Texans do this. So, and then I remember Kari, you and I don't remember if you were part of this conversation or not, Megan, but I remember Kari and I discussed a couple of times the one psychologist from Vegas whom one of the girls had reached out to, or a counselor, and on Instagram, and then one of the girls had changed the DMs to make it look like this counselor had said that Deshaun had done the same stuff to her. And the counselor, therapist lady, had to come out and say, no, I didn't do this. Those aren't my words. This is what really transpired. So that's why my question is, did he really hurt anyone, or did he just say really lewd and lascivious things? Sorry for not knowing how to speak.
And see, that's the part that is borderline for me here, because we know that there is tainted information because of Busby.
Right.
He tainted the situation.
I think I feel that way too. Like, we never heard any of these types of things about him when he was in Clemson. Like, he was just kind of, all-American boy, came from a hard-working mom, made it, and we never heard anything like this.
You never heard anything bad about him,
right? And so when it came down to it, I didn't believe it at first, because I was like, well, the Texans, they have such a history of how they treat their players there and what their owner is all about. So D-Hop, he left, and then Jay left, and it was just kind of, everything was falling apart, and I wanted to believe Deshaun. And so then when all this, when all the sheer volume of amount of people that came out, I was just like, man, it's too much smoke for there not to be a fire. Yeah. For there not to have been something wrong. But I will say this, and then we'll kind of move over to our
thank you, Robert. I could not remember. I did not know that part.
The one part that bothers me,
especially the kids part, the ejection.
The non-disclosures were signed by women and held by the Texans.
Right. And
at the time of the services rendered, however it was done. So there were non-disclosures signed, and then the Texans turned on him. That's where I have a problem. But but when you look at the final verdict of 11 games opposed to betting on your team, $2,000 on your team.
Oh yeah, I can't say what
being an entire year suspension. That's where I have a little bit of an issue, because are you telling me the integrity of the betting game, which you are bringing the NFL in by placing a team in Vegas itself.
Right.
And you're going to say that the integrity of the league in betting is a bigger issue than domestic issues like this.
Right. Which, don't get me wrong, like when I bring up Zeke, I'm not saying Zeke shouldn't have been punished. I felt like his punishment fit for breaking the code of conduct. I felt like it fit. Like that, you
Agreed.
got to take it on. Yeah, you got to take it on your chin sometimes, and just know that you did the wrong thing. You broke the code of conduct, and he hasn't had any problems since, right? So maybe that woke him up. That woke him up. Now this is on a different level, and so I absolutely feel like he should have been out for the season. Texans should somehow be punished. I mean, we've got to push this guy out. Is my opinion. And for going forward, there has to be some type of standard, because absolutely, gambling compared to this, I mean, just awful.
No, absolutely, it's horse manure. And in all honesty, I know a couple other quarterbacks that are sitting at home that should be playing when Deshaun's signing a massive contract and all that's happening. Just saying.
Right.
There's too much.
Deshaun, and at least when they were catting around on their women, they weren't doing it they were doing it consensually. So just saying.
All right, guys, let's move over to our next topics. We are going to be doing the top 5 teams in the league and the bottom 5 teams in the league. So this week, we're going to start with the bottom. Next week, we'll do the top. But we got a special guest with us as well, who has prepared both. So if you want to go ahead and bring him on.
Let's bring in Detroit Dom, who's going to get mad at me for one of my bottom 5.
Putting my team in the bottom 5?
Yeah, love you though.
I decided I was going to be nice to you and not put your team in the bottom 5.
It's okay. We'll be in the bottom 5 at the beginning of the season, but not at the end of the season.
Just enough to get Matt Roll fired, right? What's going on, 3-6?
You know me.
What's up, Dom? Glad to have you on.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Awesome,
Thank you for coming.
Okay,
Super
so
glad
we're going to start with...
You're welcome, Robert. Thank you for those 2 draft picks.
So, Dom, you want to start with you go ahead and give us your best teams, and then we will jump on with the worst teams.
Top 5, 1 and 2 are pretty interchangeable. And then for my other 3, it's some variety of 4 teams. Either 1 or 2 is the Rams. 2, if they're not 1, is Buffalo. And then 3, 4, and 5 is some combination of Green Bay, Tampa, Kansas City, and the Chargers.
Okay.
Are you writing this down?
You don't think Tampa Bay will be number 1? You don't think it'll be Tampa Bay and Buffalo?
Absolutely not. I mean, no. Tampa can't beat Matt Stafford in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
True.
Okay.
Or the regular season.
I'm going to go my worst teams, but I'm going to do it by conference and division-wise. So I'm going to have the bottom team in each division, and then my sleeper pick. So a team that, since we're doing the worst, it's a team that is kind of expected to do well, but is going to underperform. So in the AFC East, I got the Jets. I think that's pretty obvious. In the North, I got the Browns. Once again, pretty obvious. Deshaun Watson, I mean, all the problems that they're having on top of Deshaun Watson. And then in the South, this was kind of interesting because I didn't know, the Jags are hot garbage and so are the Texans. Who's going to be worse? But I went with the Texans. I think the Jags are going to gel together a little bit more. And I think that, was it a receiver that they drafted that played with Sunshine?
Yes.
Running back / receiver 2 years ago, Travis Etienne. And he missed the whole year last year.
So, and barring that him being healthy, I think they will have some chemistry together. And then in the West, this might surprise a few of y'all. I'm going to say the Broncos. I think that no matter them having Russell Wilson. I don't think it's going to change a lot. They lost a lot of people in order to get Russell Wilson, and I just don't feel it. And then my sleeper team is this, I feel like is going to underperform. And this is solely off of, because I think we know that this isn't going to be a great team. But everybody, because Mike Tomlin is such an amazing coach, and he's never had a losing season, everyone assumes that they're going to somehow get it done. And I disagree. I think they have a losing season this year, his first losing season. So that's going to be my team that underperforms. In the NFC, in the East, I got the Giants. Once again, pretty obvious. Daniel Jones is your QB. You're never going to do a thing. The North, the Bears, I have them as the worst team. I think that Detroit is actually, they've drafted well for the last 2 drafts, and I think that they're going to improve. I don't know if they're going to have a winning season. I could see it going 7-10, 8-9. I think they have the ability to win more games than the Bears. In the South, sorry, Jen, you know what it is, the Panthers. And then in the West.
Whoa, worse than the Falcons?
Yeah, we ain't worse than the Falcons.
I picked y'all.
It's all right. I still love
See,
you.
I didn't even have to get you like that, Jen.
I picked y'all.
Megan did my dirty work for me.
I know.
And then
this is why you and I are going to a game together.
And then my sleeper team that I feel like is going to underperform in the NFC is actually the Cardinals. I think that this suspension, this 6-game suspension with D-Hop is going to affect them greatly. They're a team that does better historically in the first half of the season, and then they decline. Obviously, Kyler Murray has his issues. He has some, when I say issues, I mean he has health issues. He already has his size working against him. And so by the end of the season, he's pretty banged up. And that just kind of seems to be what it is. So this 6-game suspension without D-Hop, yeah, I feel like they're going to maybe the worst team in their division.
Kingsbury is trash in the second half as well. But wow, the Cardinals worse than Seattle?
Oh, not worse than Seattle. My bad. Number 3, for sure.
Underperforming, yes. Suffice it to say, we will see the end.
They're not better than the Niners. They're not better than the Niners, and
they won't be playing a home game in the Super Bowl for the first time in 3 years.
Agreed. So those are my picks.
Kari.
Well, I'm going to make some people not happy, and that's okay because that's just the way it is. So I'm going to start with the NFC because, well, that's not my division. So conference. I say it backwards, and I've been lectured twice today over this. Anyway, so all of these, I'm just picking out the 5 that I think that are not going to be there. Bears, Giants, Seahawks, Saints, and Panthers. I think, unfortunately, Jen, I don't think that with Rule at the helm, y'all are going to do much. So, and I think I don't see Rule being let go in the middle of the season. I think your owners are going to stick to his guns and say he's my guy. And
well, they already paid him so much. Like you might
well,
as well.
But he's like cost fallacy.
It's kind of like with Darnold. They gave him that money, and then like the instant buyer's remorse. They're like, oh, now what do we do?
Well, I think it's kind of like with he's the Jerry Jones. He's like, no, I'm going to say this guy, and I'm not going to be wrong, so I'm going to stick to my guns. So there's that.
That's funny. Did you hear the quote that the mayor of Rock Hill said? I'll tell you what.
I mean, he's nowhere near Jerry Jones' level of incompetence nor senility, but story for a different day.
Right, but I think that it's similar. Anyway, that, like I said, I'm not going to make people happy. But that's okay. And here's where I'm going to make Megan not like me. I feel like Dallas is going to pull another season like they did this last year. Is they're going to get just far enough that everybody's like, oh, and then they're going to fall flat. I mean, they're going to. I just think I think that's what
I'm in no way angry.
I just feel like Dallas is going to do the Dallas.
I'm a realistic fan.
I think that's just. I think that's you're writing on the wall until you have a new head coach. Then we go to the AFC.
For the record, Megan hated that hire of Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I don't know anybody that would like that, but besides Jerry. But here we go.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind Mike McCarthy, but I have Matt Rule.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
Oh.
Before I just murder him.
I
bye.
mean,
I hate him.
That's so
I hate him.
sad. He's
right?
bad. Keep going, Kari.
Oh, okay. So then we go to my league or my conference. What the heck? Okay, so obviously Browns, obviously Texans, obviously Jets. Okay.
Right.
Steelers, I have down there. I think that with tiny hands and big leagues, we've got too much going. I mean, they have a whole lot there. And I'm not sad that they're not going to have a winning season. I'll put that out there as well. I think Titans fall in there. And just my 2 cents worth, and that's that. The team that is going to underperform is the one that has spent the most freaking money. And in walks the Dolphins. I think they have spent a lot of money and they aren't going to achieve because this is Tua's time and he is not going to, he's not, I don't think he can handle the pressure. I don't think he's going to be able to pull off what they all think that he's got. Is that me being biased? I don't know.
By all, you mean John Shearer? Because everyone else, we know.
No, Louise.
No, but if you were to read my feeds, in fact, someone in my family told me that that Hill was our team. And I'm like, okay, so put down the pipe because that's not really the truth, but whatever.
I disagree with you a little bit. I agree with you on the Dolphins, but I think it's because they let go of Brian Flores. Because he was coaching Tua well.
Yeah, to keep
Tua.
Tua.
He did at the end of the season. At the beginning of the season last year, the Dolphins were plagued with injury.
I agree. I think with the new leadership, with the money they've spent, with the expectations that the league is putting on the Dolphins, they're going to be the one that falls short. So that's my big. They're going to be the one that does not meet expectations and underperforms for the season.
Only for a year. Then Tom Brady will be there.
With his cane. Go ahead.
Only if he's done with the mouse singer.
All right, Jen.
All right. So I'm going to start with the AFC East. Of course, I've got the Jets. And, I have a quarterback and a wide receiver they can take back. I will give it to them. Then onward to my AFC West. I actually have, and I love you, Phil Jones, but I have the Raiders just because the Raiders do things and to still Kari's line. Derek Carr. When Carr's running fine, Carr's great. When he's broken down, he's broken down. But I will say they have a lot to. The players did really well given everything that was thrown to them last season. So it will be very interesting to see what happens this year.
Their O-line is bad.
Yeah, their O-line isn't that great, but let's see what happens. Because I know Carr and his wide receiver from college were reconnected. I forgot who it was. Sorry. So that'll be fun to see, but I still don't think they're going to.
They just don't, with their line the way it is, like they just don't. They don't keep him safe. They don't keep him healthy.
Right.
Their defense is not anything special either.
Well, no, but they drafted a linebacker this draft.
They did, but they've also got Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Russell Wilson twice apiece.
True.
And I like the Raiders.
Within their division. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the Raiders. Like, my older cousin was a huge Raiders fan growing up, still is now, I think. And he's actually getting married on their bye weekend this year. So, yeah, he's still a Raiders fan. Because I checked that out when I saw the date of their wedding.
Dope. In Raiders gear with the Shockmaster helmet.
Raiders used to scare me as a kid.
So I want him to like us. Hold on. What did Honey say? Okay. Loaded with Adams. All right. Megan, I'll let you take that one. Megan.
I mean, yeah, I'm not. It's their O line that's the problem. I feel like their defense is going to be improved too. I think they drafted what is another team like the Lions that I think drafted really well the last 2 drafts. And so I expect them to take a step forward, but their division is tough. And that's why I picked the Broncos to be the worst in that division, even with Russell Wilson. Like, I think he gets you one more game than what you had last season. And they were 8-9 last season. I think they might go 9-8.
Okay. Then
I think that our division is going to be the one that is the most explosive in the entire NFL this year.
well, yeah.
Okay.
Duh. Sorry, Kari. I love you, but duh.
I mean, no, I mean, it's like
I'll agree with that.
I
mean,
don't think there's any other division that's that exciting.
It's the West Division from either conference. Like, they send a minimum of 4, maybe 5, up to 6 teams to the playoffs.
Valid point, Will. Okay, so for the AFC South, I'm going with the Texans, and karma is a B. Just saying, because, you know. All right.
Who's their quarterback? That dude with the long neck?
I was going to say, no love for the neck,
his name,
Davis
Long
Mills.
It's on to the next transition. Go ahead.
Okay, NFC North. I actually am going with the Browns because, well, they don't really have a quarterback yet. So we're going to just leave that there.
They got Brissett.
No faith in the brisket.
No, hold on.
He's got a losing record.
Brisket.
No, a losing record as a starter. But go look at his numbers. They're pretty impressive. And that's, I mean, all he's got to do is hand the ball off 30 times a game. And that defense is solid.
Well, yeah, their run game is awesome.
Very good.
And then they have Josh Rosen as their 4th string.
That's my guy, the Nosen.
Rosen? Yeah.
So for the NFC South, I did pick
He's
the
better than Aaron Rodgers. Just ask him.
Sorry, Jane. Go ahead.
You're fine. I'm picking the Falcons because the Falcons are actually worse than the Panthers. However, the Panthers will lose the first half of the season. Rule will get fired because Tepper will start losing money. And yes, Rule is paid a shit ton of money. However, Tepper will lose more money than that. So by empty stadiums, people not getting sodas, people not getting beers, people not buying Panthers gear, people not having butts in the seats. Just saying. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I will say in the Panthers' defense, they actually did have a very, they picked up some good players for the O-line this year, which is something we have not done in years. We have not had a decent left tackle since Jordan Gross was retired. The Falcons they've lost everything this past offseason. I really hope Baker does me a major solid. I know he really wants to beat the Browns game week 1. Really hoping he does me a personal solid and loses. Lose the first 5 games so we can get rid of Rule, then win out. That's all I'm asking. It's not too much. Dom is asking you to lose to the Lions, But, and then, Kari, you had said something that I wanted to remind. Oh, okay. So the whole, when Tepper backed out of the Rock Hill deal for the training facility. Yes, sir?
Timeout. Lose the first 5 games and win out?
Yeah. Get rid of Tepper. Get rid of Roll. It's a conspiracy theory my girlfriend and I have.
Even if you won out, which you won't even go 500 in those last 12 games, don't you want a new quarterback? You want to keep rolling with Baker and Darnold?
No, we're getting a new quarterback anyway, but honestly, the sleeper quarterback to me in this past draft season, and you and I have gotten to an argument about it, is Howell. So, just saying.
Why didn't you draft him?
Huh?
Why didn't you draft him? He was there.
Because I have Matt Rule for a head coach. However, I do, because the reason I think if we don't win the first 5 games, Rule is out. Because when Tepper has spoken, he keeps making reference to, and this is my friend Sydney. She brought this up to me. So Sydney Moon, if you're watching, this is how you baby, and I'm on board. But Tepper keeps saying, "Oh, Matt won the first 3 games of last 2 seasons." Blah blah blah. All fine and dandy, but he's losing a lot. The rest of the rest of the games, right? Yeah. Well, hush, but listen to me.
Let her talk, Will.
Stop it, Megan. But
I was trying to take it off.
Ricky.
So if we, and actually you're kind of wrong, Will, because we have a great center now from the Ravens. We actually have a left tackle. We have a left guard. We have the number 2 right tackle in the entire league, and Taylor Mountain. We have a solid right guard. I'm sorry, like our O-line has been stacking up. It hasn't mattered in years past who the quarterback is. If you don't have an O-line around your quarterback, you ain't gonna do nothing. I don't care who you are.
Vegas has you at 6.5. Same with us. Same with Chicago.
Yeah. And that's fine. And that's still a rule at the home. And if we lose the first 5 games or don't win the first 5 games, I think rolls out.
Probably.
I really do.
Alrighty.
And I really want that. I pray for that. Okay. Sorry for my tirade there. But on the other hand, my father did give me a very positive spin because I'm trying to be more positive. He said I can root for Rule in 6 months when he's back in college. And then I
mean, at least y'all went out and did that outside of the box thinking and got a college coach. I've been waiting for the Lions to do that for most of my life.
Well, and here's the thing.
Even the Cowboys at this point, since I don't hate them anymore.
We have 2
former
head coaches on our staff right now.
Lincoln Riley?
So I wanted.
Me too. For y'all. Or us. Or even Nick Saban for y'all.
I don't see Nick Saban ever leaving college again.
Why would he? He's got all those rings and no, what do you call it?
I hear Urban Meyer could have a job. Sorry. You want Urban Meyer?
No.
I'll tell y'all something later. Oh, I showed that video to you girls. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Have we finished up the bottom picks yet?
No, I think Jen still has a few more.
I do. And so does Dom. Okay. I've got the Bears actually and the NFC North. I have the Giants and the NFC East. And I have the Seahawks and the NFC West.
And who's your underperformer?
My underperformer, Carolina Panthers. I mean, I'm realistic, people.
Okay. That's real.
All right. Dom.
Bottom 5, not by division, because I'm not going to give any team in any of those divisions. I mean, you know who's going to finish last in each one of those divisions. Like, it's not really up for debate. Bottom 5, period. In no particular order. Texans, Falcons, Jets, Seahawks, Bears.
Okay. Do you have a particular team that you think is going to underperform this year?
I was just looking at the over-under. I'm with you. I think Denver. Because I'm fairly certain to 100% certain that Russell Wilson has no idea what to do in a clean pocket because he hasn't seen one in like 2 or 3 years, 4 years. Saban won't come back after the Dolphins stint he had. No, yeah, he won't. I mean, why would you?
Yeah. He just got $98 million this morning.
Right. When you can run a dirty ass program for all those years and get no, I still can't think of the word. In college, when your program gets busted, what's the word?
Death penalty.
Right, but short of that.
I know what your word.
Sanctions. Sanctions.
Sanctions. Yes.
When have we
Sanctions,
ever seen a college program this good for this long that didn't get sanctioned? It's a trick question. The answer is never. And now with NIL, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Screw you,
Dom,
Alabama.
Dom, you want to tell everybody what your projects are, what you have going on?
Yes, I wrote them down.
Awesome.
Monday nights during the NBA season on your NBA carousel at 8 p.m. Wednesdays and Fridays, kneecap biting with Smoke and Jeremy. That's at 8 p.m. Thursdays, double duty. 7 p.m. Alex Fleming's NFL carousel, representing, of course, the Detroit
Hey,
Lions.
Robert. Hey, babe. Go ahead.
8:20-ish, or whenever Megan gets done with her makeup, we do the sip off. That is all things basketball, college pro. We also drink sometimes here and there. Saturday's my show, The Gauntlet, at 8 p.m. That is myself, James Tatum, Jay Nelson, JJ Jenkins. Was that 4 names?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
8 p.m. Sundays, Basket Bros, with our lovely producer, Jen Matthews-Lewis. That's me and Jay Nelson and Will Vogel and Jacob Christner. That is all things hoops, 2000s and back, other than when Jacob wants to talk mess about James Harden, which is fine. Thanks for having me, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks,
Hey, Dom, we love you.
commenting, interacting with us. This was a really fun show, and we will be back next week with the top teams
and our Super Bowl prediction.
That too.
He really is pretty, isn't she, Robert?
He's a little biased.
He's trying to get out of trouble tonight.
That's funny. All right, we'll see you back next week, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for tuning in. Dom, thanks
Happy
for coming.
football season.